You guys remember Dan Houser, right? The co-founder of Rockstar Games and their former creative director has been doing a lot of interviews lately. Now that he's no longer part of Rockstar or bound by a ton of non-disclosure agreements, he's been a lot more candid about his time there in the past month than he ever was when he was actually working there. Very recently, he's been on tour to promote his new book, A Better Paradise, and last week he did an interview in the UK for BBC Radio 4. He was asked various questions about his time at Rockstar, and then the interviewer, Kate Mollison, asked him why he left the company. This is the first time we're hearing him actually speaking about this. Here's their exchange.
You then left Rockstar in 2020. Why was that?
Because the projects are really long and tough and take a long time to make, and it's can be a tough journey getting things at that scale with that many moving parts finished, and you've got 450,000 lines of dialogue and equal numbers of parts of other things all trying to assemble itself, and it's this huge production experience, and that swallows all of your time for many years at a time, and I didn't know if I had another one of those games in me.
And leaving, I suppose, has allowed you to pursue these other creative outlets.
Interesting, huh? For a long time, I think a lot of fans were left wondering, okay, what the hell happened that actually caused this guy to leave, or what made him decide to leave? Did he just do it on his own? I know a lot of people were like, oh my god, did he get into a fight with his brother? Some have also pointed out that this might line up with something that Tex2, a Rockstar insider formerly known as Tez2, posted on GTA forums, claiming that, according to two employees who were in the know, Dan left following a disagreement he had with Sam regarding the future of Rockstar. Obviously, anything coming from an anonymous source is to be taken with a grain of salt, and at this point it's kind of treading on trust me bro territory. We don't know if anything happened between them, and for all we know, everything was amicable. Therefore, let's not focus so much on whether or not he had a big disagreement with his brother. He didn't mention anything about Sam, and the last thing we want to be doing is start coming up with scenarios that none of us were even there for. But what we heard coming directly from him doesn't surprise me at all. The guy is extraordinarily creative, and he was lucky to be able to utilize that gift in a way that he could build a hugely successful career out of, and then be set for life because of it. I mean, how many of you have some kind of creative talent that you just wish you could make millions of dollars off of? This dude did it. The man's a natural-born storyteller, but when a single game takes this long to make now, and when it's just one creative endeavor to focus on with 500,000 lines of dialogue and all the other headaches that are associated with actually making a game, all of that taking a minimum of 5 years, that sounds like a recipe for burnout. Games these days are taking a lot longer to make regardless. We're not in the days of the PS2 or even the PS3 era when you can expect a new sequel once a year or every other year. And these days with Rockstar, forget it. It was 5 years between GTA 5 and Red Dead 2, and by the time GTA 6 comes out, that'll have been an 8-year wait for a single game out of them. All Rockstar work on now is just one game at a time, and they take a long time to make. And what's the next game from them once that comes out? GTA 7, and how long is that going to take to make? I see a lot of people who are questioning whether or not this sort of model is even sustainable across the industry, not just with Rockstar. AAA gaming as a whole feels like it's in a really weird spot right now. The games are taking so long to make, and they're so expensive now that they need to really be huge hits in order to actually make their money back. And how long is that even going to go on for, especially with what they're charging now, and the fact that other developers seem to be salivating at the thought of GTA 6 possibly being $80. This is probably wishful thinking, but I think it would be awesome if they could dedicate, say, Rockstar North and maybe San Diego to working on one GTA every so often as their huge game, and then utilize all those other studios that they have for smaller scale projects, like either smaller open worlds or linear games. Imagine if they got Rockstar New England to work on a new Bully, or get Rockstar Toronto to do, I don't know, maybe a spiritual successor to Manhunt. Then the London studio, they could do Midnight Club, or hell, something else, something brand new. But then new IPs can be risky as well, especially when they make billions of dollars off the current one. They are a business, and a business is going to want to make money. A lot of it. Even if they did another Red Dead after, are GTA and Red Dead all they're gonna do? Maybe that's the next thing. Have you ever considered that maybe Dan Houser just got tired of writing yet another comedic crime drama featuring a revenge plot of some kind and a satirical world around it? We might love the games as consumers, but that doesn't mean that it's all he ever wants to spend his life working on. His newest project, A Better Paradise, is a science fiction story set in the near future. It speaks volumes that it's a book that's been written, too. A game is being made that's set in the same universe, but Hauser had this to say about what he enjoyed about working on a book instead of a video game.
So let's come back to the novel. What does writing a novel allow you to do as a writer that a game maybe doesn't?
Put you inside people's heads. I think games are really good for a kind of realist type of storytelling, but it's quite external. Whereas one of the things that I think novels do really well, and I really enjoy in novels, is when they give you the perspective from inside someone's stream of consciousness. And if you're trying to talk about how the internet has adjusted that and damaged that, then I think being inside someone's head was a really useful device in this book.
And you know what? He's not wrong that a book allows you to go deeper into the mindset of characters. It feels a lot more personal, and you get to know the characters at a different level, especially if the book is well written. And don't get me wrong, games are still great, but I'm an avid reader as well, and I wouldn't mind it if there were more books that even tie into existing franchises. Kind of surprised Rockstar hasn't done that. I know a lot of the Tom Clancy franchises by Ubisoft have a lot of those. At this point, Splinter Cell might as well be a book franchise because they made more books than games. One last thing I want to bring up. As much as people are annoyed about how long the game has taken, it feels like there's more people that are complaining about that than there are who actually care about the allegations of union busting that have been happening. This was brought up in the interview as well, and here's what was said.
Interesting that you bring up the sacrificing of values there. You'll know that there have been protests outside the offices of Rockstar North here in Edinburgh in recent weeks. Rockstar has been accused of sacking a number of staff to stop them from unionising, which Rockstar denies. Now, I appreciate that you left the company a number of years ago, but do you think that the games industry is a good industry to work in at the moment?
Fundamentally, yes. That's why I work in it, and I encourage other people to work in it. No industry is ever perfect, but my experience in the games industry has been it's fundamentally all companies are different, but it's fundamentally a positive and supporting environment for most people most of the time. But nowhere is perfect.
I figure I might as well throw that in there because as long as the game is taking to make, how well are the staff that are working on it being treated? You gotta remember, these are human beings that are building this game. I swear, between this and the leaks, it feels like there's been more drama during the development of this game than there has been in other Rockstar titles, at least that we know of. Although having said that, Manhunt apparently had quite a bit of that as well. I guess we're not really going to know what the development is like until after the game comes out, and we'll see what happens in terms of what staff have to say about what it was like working there. Now, what are your thoughts about what Dan Hauser had to say on why he left Rockstar? Do you think there's such a thing as a game that's too big? Are Rockstar taking too long to make games? And how about the union busting allegations? And are you interested in any of Dan Hauser's new work? Let me know what you think, and thank you for watching.